Welcome to Coder Station.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Coder Station. Today we are going to dive into the exciting world of control statements in PHP. So control statements are an essential part of any programming language, which allows us to control the flow of our program and make decisions based on the certain conditions. Like if you want to draw an output based on any conditions, then control statements are used. So we'll see that in further how it works. So in this presentation, we'll explore the different types of control statements in PHP and how they can be used to create efficient code. Whether you are a beginner or looking to refresh your knowledge, you are in the right place. So let's start. PHP allows us to perform actions based on some type of conditions that may be logical or comparative. Based on the result of these conditions, that is either true or false, an action would be performed which is asked by the user. So if it is true, certain code will be executed. If it is false, certain code will be executed. To make these actions possible in your code, PHP provides us with conditional statements. So they are just like a two-way path. If you want something, then go the first way, or else turn and go the other way. To use this feature, PHP provides us with 4 conditional statements: if else statement, and lastly switch statement. So we'll see one by one the syntax and flowchart. First, if statement. So an if statement is a conditional statement that allows you to execute code only if a certain condition is met. So it has only one condition, that is if that certain condition is satisfied, then the further code will be executed. Otherwise, the flow of code continues. So the syntax for if statement is simple. If statement condition, the condition to be met, and then the code. If the condition is met, then the code to be executed is enclosed in the curly bracket. So the simple flow, that is if the expression is true, then body of if will be executed. False, then the statement below if, that is normal code flow. That we have understood if conditions, that is if the condition is true, then the block of code will be within it will be executed. But what if the condition is not true and we want to perform an action? Then the if else statement comes into the play. So the if else statement executes some code if a condition is true, and otherwise the else part of the code is executed if the condition is false. So syntax: if condition, code to be executed if true, else the remaining part to be executed if the condition is not satisfied. So in the flowchart you can see here you get two outputs to be executed if the condition is satisfied or if the condition is not satisfied. For example, you can use an if statement to check whether a user is logged in, and then an else statement to display a login form if they are not. So this can be used to create dynamic web pages that respond to user input. So as we know, if statement can also be used in conjunction with else and else if statements to create more complex control structure. So like if statement executes different codes for more than 2 conditions. So earlier we had if only the if condition, then we had an if and else condition, and then now we have multiple if else conditions. So the syntax: if condition, then the code to be executed. Else if condition, again in condition is checked, then code to be executed, and if not, the earlier 2 conditions are not satisfied, then the else condition is executed. So the flow chart: so expression 1, if it is satisfied, then the code. Otherwise expression 2, if not, then expression 3 it can go on, and lastly else condition executed. Lastly, switch statement. The switch performs in various cases. First evaluates an expression, then compares with the value of each case. If the case matches, then the same case is executed. That is, the code within the case is executed. To use switch, we need to get familiar with 2 different keywords, namely break and default. So the break statement is used to stop the automatic control flow into the next cases and exit from the switch cases. That is, it stops the flow of the program to check each and every case and immediately exits the switch statement. And the default statement contains the code that would execute if none of the case matches. we'll see with the example syntax. And so as we know, a switch statement has various cases to which it matches the condition and appropriately executes a particular case block. So here the syntax is switch and n. N can be any number or a condition. When it is satisfied, the switch begins, like the case matching begins, and then the case with the statement 1. If it's matching the condition, then the following statement will be executed. Similarly for case 2. And if none of the case matches to the condition, then the default statement will be executed. So right, it is given n is equal to statement 1. So the condition n, if matches the statement 1, then the code is executed. And if matches none, then the default. So as shown, similar thing is shown in the flow chart. So expression 1, if it matches, then the executed. For expression case 2, case 3, then nothing, then the default. So now that we know the control statement, we've done the theoretical part of the control statement. We discussed different statements, how they are syntax works, their flow chart, their working works. So we'll see with an example. So let us begin with the first if statement where we know that it has only one condition. So within this PHP tags, always the code that you need to execute, PHP code that you need to execute should be within this two opening and closing tags. So as you can see, this is the if statement. Here we have if and one condition. If it's satisfied, then this code will be executed. That is the echo. Congratulations, you are an adult will be printed. So I have given $20, so which is greater than 80. It is satisfied, and then it gets inside this brackets, curly brackets, and executes. Congratulations, you are an adult. So let's check on the browser. Refresh. Congratulations, you are an adult. But what if it's not satisfied? What if we are not above 18? Still, I want to show the output that you're not an adult, so you can't vote. So how we know that we have an else part to the if else condition. So yes, as I changed it to 12, so it's less than 18. So it goes to the else, the control. It is these are known as control statement because now you can see that the age is 12, so it's no longer more than 18. So the control of the code goes to the else part. So we have seen one more thing, that is a complex structure, which is if else. So let's see. So I guess we'll change here. So here we have if, else if, and else. First, first the code will check if the if statement is met. That is, if the age is more than 18, then the statement is executed. If not, that is, we have 15. So it will go to else if. The control will shift to else if. And then it will check age is greater than 13, greater than equal to 13, or and if it is less than 18. So teenagers is basically 13 to 18. So it will check. You can see I have used various operators that we have learned in previous video. So if you need to learn more about operators, check the previous videos. So here we have greater than operator, and you might know our logical AND, that is a logical operator, which gives output when both the conditions are met. That is, if the age is greater than 13 and also less than 18, then only the statement will be printed. So let's check. You are a teenager, one step to adulthood, because the age was 15. So next up we have is the switch statement. As we've seen, it checks multiple cases and then evaluates the output. So here we have one for the weekdays. So let's check if it's Monday, then get back to work, and Friday, then time to party. So if Monday, we all should get back to work. But firstly, have a close look of how are switch statements written. So it begins with a switch and then a condition, and inside the curly bracket you have case 1, which ends with a colon, not a semicolon but a colon, and then echo and break. We all have discussed break and default. Break, if suppose like it's Monday, so it will check this case as Monday, and then it will immediately exit this loop outside. So if we have any statement here for echo, it will execute that after the break statement. And the default, if none of the case match, then the default statement is executed. So here we conclude with control statements in PHP. We covered the if statement for single conditions, the else statement for providing alternatives, the else if statement for multiple conditions, and finally the switch statement for checking against multiple cases. Mastering control statements is crucial as they form the foundation for building complex decision-making logic in PHP. So take your time, practice it, and make sure to use them regularly in your code. Thank you for joining us in this tutorial. We hope you found it valuable.